Hey, good morning, class, and happy Monday to you. Hope you enjoyed your long weekend from the snow day. To be honest, I've lost track of the shout-outs they're given, so if I repeat some, I'm sorry. Let's go with a shout-out to Jatana today. Shout-out to Jatana. Volume of cylinders today. This is going to be very, very straightforward, very similar to what we did last week with volume of prisms, but I don't use this word a lot because math's not easy, but this is even easier than that. Alright, here's why. A prism, we can have many bases for a prism. We have a triangular prism, rectangular prism, a trapezoidal prism, any type of shape. But a cylinder is always a circle for the base every single time, so we don't have to worry about changing formulas or changing the base formula. It's always a circle. So for a cylinder, the volume again is capital B times H, but more specifically, we should write down this in the yellow box. This is the one we want to have. Because it's always a circle, our B is always pi r squared. So instead of putting capital B, we're just going to put pi r squared times the height of my cylinder. And again, the height is the distance between the two circles. Alright, so pi r squared times H every single time for a cylinder today. Okay. Biggest thing is, the only thing that's going to change is R. Okay. Because they might give you the diameter, they might give you the radius. Alright? And then the height is the distance between the two circles. So let's check some out. Example 1, part A, they want to find the volume of this cylinder over here. Well, this cylinder, the radius is what? 3, and the height is 12. So I'm just going to use this formula here. In my calculator, I do pi times radius squared, so 3 squared, times my height is 12. I enter all that in the calculator. They might have you do 3.14 instead of pi. Just got to read the directions. And then multiply all that in my calculator, and I get an answer of 339.3 cubic inches. Again, volume is cubed. We're finding out how many cubes fit inside this prism. Okay? Part B. What's my radius for B? Take a look over here. What's my radius? My radius is going to be 7 because the diameter is 14. So my calculator is going to be pi times 7 squared times my height. What's my height? 20. Multiply all that together in a calculator and you get 3,078.8 cubic centimeters. Go ahead and enter that and make sure you're getting these correct numbers so you enter it correctly. If you're not, see me. Do some guided practice from extra practice. I'll just show you the answer so you know if you're doing it right. Or you're just using that same formula for those. You can use those for practice if you want to get a little better at them. Here's finding the height. This is a work backwards one, okay? So again, we're going back to our equations that we did earlier in the year. They tell me the volume already is 618 cubic meters. So my volume, or my V, is 618. Okay, that's going to equal capital B times H. Well, we know this is pi r squared times H. Let's just rewrite that. I don't like that being there. Pi r squared H. Alright, we want to find the height now. Okay, so 618 equals pi r squared H. Well, I do pi times, look over here in my picture, what's my radius? 4 times my height, I don't know. Okay. Well, this is an equation. How do I solve an equation? I work backwards. I do the inverse. Alright, so I'm trying to get H by itself. So what's happening to H? Well, I'm multiplying it by 4 squared, and I'm multiplying it by pi. Okay, so I have to do the opposite. I have to divide. So what is 4 squared? 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, so if you want to rewrite that as 16, you can. But I'm going to divide by pi and 16, or 4 squared, how you want to look at it. And what I do to this side, I also do to this side. So whatever pi times 16 is, I'm going to divide over there, whatever 16 pi is. Make sure, here's a little calculator hint. If you type in on your one calculator, 618, and you hit the divide by sign, pi times 16 like I typed it, that's not going to be the right answer. You have to put this in parentheses here. So it knows that's 1 thing in the bottom. That's all goes in the bottom. So make sure you put parentheses around it when you do that. Go and type that in your calculator, make sure you're doing it right, and getting an answer of about 12.3 meters. We're looking for the height, so it's not cubed. We're just looking for a distance. Okay, so this is how we work backwards. We're going to divide by the information they give us. All right. Awesome. Here's another practice one if you want. I'll show you the answer so you can see if you did it right. But we're working backwards there. It's going to be around 7 for that one if you want to try that on your own. All right, last one. Real world and kind of a combination of the last two sections. Here we have a pillar, or a pedestal they call it, and they want to find the volume of the pedestal with the base rectangular prisms included. All right. So we want to find the volume of each individual one and add them all together. So let's do the prisms first because that's the older stuff. How to find the volume of this rectangular prism? Well, if you remember, we do length times width times height. Multiply all three numbers. So I do 0.5. Again, doesn't matter the order. Times 1.5 times 1.5 again. Doesn't necessarily look to scale, but we'll use it. All right. And yeah, we just multiply those together, and we get 1.125. Now I have one on the bottom and one on the top, so I have to double that. So I multiply that by 2 to get 2.25. All right. So that's how many cubic feet are in this and this. Now I just got to find my cylinder and add them all together. So my cylinder, we just got done doing pi r squared times h. So pi times, what's my radius? My radius is going to be 0.5 because the whole thing is 1, so it'll be half. So 0.5 squared times my height. My height is 3.5. Alright, so I multiply all those together, and the volume of my cylinder is 2.75 cubic feet. And then to get my final answer for this problem, I add them together to get 5. 2.25 plus 2.75 is 5 cubic feet. That's the volume of this pedestal. Okay, and again, here's an extra guided practice if you want to find it. We have 2 cylinders on top of a Lego piece, and we have the whole prism underneath. Find the volume. See if you can do it on your own. That would be the answer. Alright, so again, today we're working on cylinders, mixing some prisms to make sure you remember the review. Thank you, and have a wonderful, wonderful Monday.